Next, we are going to hear from one of the oldest and most important DAOs in the Solana ecosystem. They are hackathon winners from 2022 and 2021 actually, so they have lots of years under their belt. They are building public goods, they're building governance tools. Let's hear it from Grape Protocol.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks. And again, congratulations with the event. Yeah. Where's the clickers here? So in true DAO fashion, we also have a DAO call right now. So Billy's gonna put it on, so you guys are live on that too. I'll hand it over to you.
Well, hi everybody. My name is Coffee Attack, and it's my great honor to introduce Grape DAO to you all, amongst new friends, old friends, and everyone between. I think Grape DAO has some serious background in Greece with strong roots and a lot of people involved locally in the community. And basically, it's an OG DAO created in 2021, and it's a social DAO. It's been around for a very long time, and basically the way I was introduced to it was I was once upon a time people like you. I was at NFT DGen in 2021, held a few NFTs that was qualified for a airdrop of the Grape token, which was the governance token back then. And instead of moving on with it, I decided to be curious and find out what DAOs were, and found my way into the Discord and attended DAO calls, and organically got myself into the community, and here I am. So definitely a great experience, and I think it's one of these organizations, along with Dean's List and whatnot, as a great introduction into the ecosystem. And hopefully we can introduce a lot of different ways for you all to be involved, and I'm excited to explain that to you. So, and also, I learned so much from Grape in terms of the Solana ecosystem, and there's so much to learn, and a lot of good people here. So, let's move on. Great. So it's my great honor to introduce the result of, I would say, a few months of work, hundreds of hours of discussion and debate. And this is, Grape's V2. So Grape is representing the Grape Reward Incentive Pool. And for the first time, we identified former pain points of DAOs and whatnot. You enter the DAO, you're not sure what to do. And now for the first time, at least here, we've introduced all sorts of interesting roles. You enter the DAO, all it requires is one Grape token to get into it, and you join the DAO, and now we have all these interesting definite roles, and then within that, based off a proof of work concept, you do the work, you establish a reputation through that work, and if it's done well, you are definitely up for rewards in the form of the Grape governance reward system. And you do work, and I think it's very rewarding. And I think hopefully this is a way forward for the DAO for sure. And well, without further ado, I'd love to introduce Billy, who will talk about social coordination and AI.
Well, by being a DAO, you learn about a lot of the pain points that DAOs have. And we started to notice that a lot of our documentation is all over the place. It's hard to keep track of which wallet does what are the processes, and especially for new people that want to be onboarded to a DAO, this information needs to be easy to consume. But also for other DAOs that want to work together, there needs to be ways, or standards, where we could compose together. So being part of a DAO, the main benefit of not being alone is that you could share your ideas with other passionate individuals around the world, and with creating like micro goals to achieve like your bigger goals. If you get the right people together and you reward them, like all these individuals that are here from our DAO, we could do great things together. And this is the same for every DAO. We don't think we've identified all the pain points in DAOs, but as operating as a DAO, I think we've identified some core issues. And now in the era of AI, if we went to ChatGPT today and we tried to say, okay, ChatGPT, create a proposal on the Grape DAO. What does it know about the Grape DAO? What does the Grape DAO do? What do our treasuries do? How does the reputation formula work? So we definitely need rich metadata, which will allow us to do automatic proposal creation if we do want the A in DAOs to become a reality, and we want to train LLM models to do things like rebalancing a treasury based on rules that we have voted on, like what percentage of the treasury should be in XYZ assets. Or like Neodyme, which audits programs, having a way to quickly warn protocols that, oh, this proposal is doing an upgrade, and maybe you shouldn't vote for that. Having like the ability to notify the users on these problems will also help allow people to participate and trust what they were voting on. And summarizing all the actions in the DAO, like if I go to a DAO on any blockchain and I want to get a quick overview of what they've done in the last 6 months or what they did a year ago, it's hard. There's no standards, there's no rich metadata, and you need to go to a lot of discourse, and I don't want to bore you with all that stuff. I just want to I want to do a good segue to Matt and what we're building to solve most of these issues at Grape.
Hi, my name is Matt. I go by Fuzzy Eddie online. I live near the Rocky Mountains in the United States, and I'm excited to be here in this beautiful city, Athens, to talk to you guys about DAOs. And so I joined Grape in 2021 because I was looking for somewhere to build software, and I got that opportunity at Grape, and it's been great working with these guys. And today I want to talk about a program that I'm building for Grape right now. And we're calling it the Grape Solana Program Library Directory. So before I talk about the program, I want to talk about the problem that we're trying to solve. So if you want to interact with a DAO, you're going to need some kind of user interface. And two user interfaces that exist right now are realms.today, which has been around for a long time, and then governance.so, which Grape has built recently. And for either of these, you need some way to list the group of DAOs that will show up when a user first comes to the page, or when the user's navigating to the page. So right now, with realms.today, that's managed with a GitHub repo. So someone has to, when you want to list a new DAO, someone has to put in a pull request that has to be approved by an admin. And for governance.so, it uses a decentralized storage pool, but still the owner of the key that's maintaining that pool has to do that update. So ideally, we would be able to manage this directory using DAOs. But you could do that right now. You would have to make a proposal and then vote. And then once the result comes in, you'd have to assign someone to carry that out. There's no way to directly connect it. So to get this directly connected, what we can do is create the GSPL directory, which will be a custom program that runs on Solana. So the information about which DAOs should show up on the UI, in this case, will be stored in the Solana state. It is a global state machine, so part of that state can be which DAOs show up. And also, the Solana program can enforce rules about how that state can be updated. And a really cool thing about this is that if you store it on chain, then there's no infrastructure that you need to keep running. There's no one person that needs to keep a database running. Instead, you have 2,000 nodes running independently all over the world that store this data for you. And it's not free to store this data. You do have to pay rent for that allocation of data on the blockchain. But the good thing about it is that can be paid when the instruction creates this state. So if a DAO wants to onboard, then they would only have to pay for the state for their request. So if there were one person paying for hundreds of listings or thousands of listings, it would be a little bit expensive, but it's an almost trivial cost on Solana, at least, to pay for one request. So the cost gets spread out. So now I want to talk about how this would actually work, like what the flow would look like. So if you create a new DAO and you want to be on a user interface that uses this directory, then the first thing you would have to do is someone from your DAO would have to create a proposal. And that would include an instruction for the GSPL directory to create a new listing. So that proposal would get voted on, and then it could be executed, and then immediately the GSPL directory will create a new listing. In this listing, you can also not only request to be part of the UI, but request to become a child of some DAO that's existing in the UI. And when you first create the state, the approval for listing and the approval for becoming a child will be set to like a value of false. And then the next step is the approvals. So this is going to be very similar to the new DAO. You'll have an admin DAO. So with this program, you could have many different directories. If you create a directory, then you can assign an admin. That'll be who manages the directory overall. And that just has to be a Solana key, and that a key can be assigned to a DAO wallet. So this admin DAO, you would have to create someone from that DAO would create a proposal. It would get voted for, executed, and then it would execute an instruction in the GSPL directory, and that'll update the admin approval to true. And this one costs even less than the original listing because you're not allocating any new space, you're just changing one of the values in the state. So it's only the cost of a Solana transaction, which is very low. And then also if the requester wants to be a child of a parent DAO, that parent DAO would have to validate that really is a child DAO for them. So they would do the same thing. Proposal, voting, execution, and then it'll update the state. So this is great that now DAOs can interact directly with the directory, but the problem is that it's not the easiest way to implement this kind of thing. It's pretty straightforward to have a GitHub repo or use a database. But the good news is that even though Solana has, since the beginning, had a meme of working on Solana programs is like chewing glass, fortunately, things have been getting better and better with tools that have been continuously developed since the beginning. So one of these tools is Anchor. So Anchor is a framework for making on-chain programs. So whenever you execute an instruction in Solana, you pass in all of the accounts that will be acted on, either read or written to. And if a malicious actor wants to pass in accounts that aren't expected, that could cause results that the developer didn't expect. So Anchor makes it easy to declaratively define what accounts are supposed to come in, and it makes it easier to do those checks. So this speeds things up and makes it more secure. Also, Anchor is opinionated about a lot of the things that aren't the actual logic you're trying to work on. So it will just really speed up your development. And then that's for creating the on-chain programs, but also for using the on-chain programs, like creating client programs. Metaplex has come up with something recently called UMI, which is a framework for client programs. It includes interfaces for all the different things you would need to do for a Web3 program. And one really cool thing about this is they also have a program called Kinobi, and one of the things that it can do is generate code that works with UMI from your IDL that you generate from Anchor. So it makes it easy to interact with your on-chain program without even having to download a separate library. And also you can even register it to an online repository, so someone can just get UMI and then directly start working with your program. So things are getting a lot better. So even though this is a little bit harder way than doing something centralized, the friction is getting less and less for bringing these kind of things on chain. And so now we can work directly with DAOs, but something that you would get not just with GSPL, but with anything that, any kind of functionality like this that you want to bring on chain is composability. And so what composability means is that you can take something that you make and other people can include it into larger systems. So like what can you do with the GSPL directory? Anybody can permissionlessly access all the data that's in this directory. So it doesn't just have to be the UIs that you say, like this can work for realms.today and governance. So no, anybody can make a UI and it can access that same data. And also anybody can make a UI to interact with the directory and manage the directory, because anybody can call these instructions. And how you would actually do that, if you're working on a decentralized app, then you would do it through RPC calls. So an RPC is just like an HTTP endpoint that you pass in JSON that will execute commands on the blockchain. So you can get the data from our directory program, or you can send instructions using one of these RPCs. And that's just something that you can get. It's going to be the same whether you get it from Helios or from Shift or from Triton or QuickNode. Like you can get it from anywhere, and you can get the same data, execute the same instructions. And also, if you want to build a bigger Solana program and use the directory within a program, you can call it through what's called a CPI, or a cross-program invocation. And you can also get any of the data from the directory within another Solana program just by passing in the accounts and then reading back the data. So now, once we get this on chain, we'll be able to interact with the directory, manage the directory with DAOs, and also anybody in the world can get the data or interact with the program. So I think this brings us one step closer to the world that we believe is possible as proponents of DAOs.
Thank you, Fuzzy. This is going to be really, really big, because this is going to be a backbone for any community to use this program, whether it's going to be for governance or for other applications. You can make a directory, and you could use that directory for those instances. So I think it's going to be incredibly powerful and verifiable, and also applied in the use case of AI, being able to query that. What else is Grape building? So we are working on governance.so, and we did this first because we wanted to have access and see what's going on with governances in the Solana ecosystem. We wanted to see what's going on with our DAO, but also wanted to see the broader ecosystem that's using SPL governance. So we built a new interface that we wanted to understand what it means for DAOs that are participating. We wanted to make discovery easy. We wanted to make sorting easy. We wanted to make it to see, let's say in this directory page that we have, certain aspects with regards to how many members. And you could sort that stuff. We wanted this to be like a gateway so you could engage with communities. I'm sorry it's a bit small, but if you guys go to the previous slide, you'll be able to go directly to the link. Beyond the directory overview, you could go deeper inside a DAO, and you're able to see details, let's say for Grape, and you could see proposals, treasury, management, and you could see data on if those proposals are active, if they're passing, and you could get even further data by going even deeper inside and seeing the proposals itself. We've taken a different approach on how we wanted to see it. We wanted it to be easier to the user to be able to understand that, the proposal should be kind of like an email that you're receiving. So the top right that you see, that's going to be your interface where you go into one of the proposals and you get all the details. So you get your title, your summary. On the far right, you get all the rules, the governance rules for the specific proposal. And we do a breakdown of how your quorum is. And there's a different interpretation on the Realms UI. We took a different approach on ours. But on the left, we also show who participated. and we show their weight, we show the direction of their votes, because it's all public, it's all on the blockchain. That's a fantastic thing about it. And this is all powered by the same exact program with the Realms UI. It's the SPO governance program, and it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, congratulations, Sebastian. There's absolutely nothing else that I've seen that's so in-depth of a program. We have further features that we have. We introduced this latest activity, which shows every activity that's happening for the proposal. That's amazing because you can see every single instance who deposited, let's say, their voter records, who casted a vote. So it's quite interesting to expand and see more on that. We also have instruction details, so you can see what's being executed. We parse some instructions. We're going to add more parsing in the near future, too. We added ways that people can participate easier. We wanted to make voting directly native. So we did want to support voting directly in our interface. We had users that were using our interface and they were asking us to vote. So first thing we did is we had added support for simple voting. After that, we said, you know what, there are people that have delegated voting. Let's give them the option for delegated voting with all their delegates so they could vote for multiple wallets. Let's make it easy for them also to do all their delegated voting power. So we have vote with all my delegated voting power, but then we realized that why should we vote with all if our quorum is, let's say, I have like 3 votes, but our quorum is 2. They shouldn't spend more rent. Let's go ahead and just do as much as the quorum is going to be. So we cap it to the quorum until it passes, so you don't have to pay additional rent for that. We just wanted to make it easier for everybody in our community to participate. We also added advanced tools, including depositing with custom amounts. We added a different kind of interface with regards to how you delegate also. So if I want to delegate my voting power to you and you want to vote on my behalf, you could do that very easily and quickly from our UI. And we have metrics. Metrics was something that was missing from our DAO that we needed deeply to understand what's going on. How the votes and how the participation is during time, how the proposals are during time. This is only for the Grape DAO, but we've done that for over 200 DAOs in the Solana ecosystem because we wanted to take a deep understanding of how people are in this ecosystem, how they're voting, and what the results are of those votes. So on the top, we have a summary. On the lower part, we have the governance power over time and how it's growing or decreasing, so we could show that in a graph. And in the bottom section, we have the ultimate tool, which are the users in your voter registry and your voter records that have participated and how many votes they have, if they've been awarded, so we keep track of that. We're showing more information with regards to other multi-SIGs they might be participating, like squads, so we added support for that. And you could expand that. So in the bottom right, these are squads, multi-SIGs that this wallet is participating in. You could see that. This is, again, public information on the blockchain. We need to show it easily, and people should be able to see that. We also have a breakdown of all the awards, if anybody wants to see those, of the Grape that have been awarded through time. So there's a lot of stuff, and we wanted to get this because we wanted to build reputation models. We added also proposal building. And this was also something we did out of frustration. Because when we do proposals, our proposals could be token transfers when we're sending to over 40 wallets. I'm sorry, Sebastian, but that, oh my God, that would take us 2 hours to do because you'd have to do it one by one. I'm used to the process of kind of doing it easier, you know, making it faster, making it more efficient. So these kind of proposals that took 2 hours, we made that to 1 minute because we thought, what's going to make it easier? Let's make an Excel, wallet, token amount, copy, paste. We did it. It works. Proposals, 1 minute for a token transfer. Absolutely fantastic. So the recent proposals that we put on chain, we're using our tooling, very efficient. People could focus exactly on the essence, but we added a lot of checks too. Are we doing a duplicate wallet? Are they actually a DAO member? Do they qualify based on our rules if they should get awarded more voting power? We've built a lot of plugins, and we added soul transfer, token transfer. We added a feature called speed dial where you can make your own verified list of wallets that you trust. We added full closed token accounts if you want to get all the rent back. These are more technical things. We partnered with Jupiter, and they've been very supportive with us and Magic Eden. So you could actually list NFTs if you want for your DAO using our tools. And again, it's on the Solana program. So even if you execute on governance, it's going to show up on Realms, and you're going to vote, and it's going to be listed on Magic Eden. That's fantastic. But one thing that we did, which was awesome, and I think it's the first of any DAO, at least in Solana, was we did intra-DAO tooling. A DAO can now participate to another DAO. So I can make a collective in SPL governance, and you could participate in another one. So let's say Billy spins up a DAO in SPL governance. He could participate in the Grape DAO. He could join it, and he could vote, which is cool. But he could also make proposals. And not only is this a proof of concept that you could do it, but we did it. We did it because we could. And we have all our latest proposals on Grape done by another DAO. So that's, for me, I think it's like, wow, this is like incredible of what that program could do. So a DAO can really interact with each other and not be in a silo. And we have the tools, and that's what I was saying a bit earlier, to do that. So these are very powerful tools. They're just there, and it's our duty as developers to kind of make it as easy as possible for people to use. We also added a new token called Vine to reward participation for our DAO calls, and we made a UI for that too. It's a simple UI. We open sourced it, so anybody has access to try it and use it. They can also plug in any SPL token they want. It's going to fetch the information. We also added a little randomizer on the top. The nice thing is that it weights the voters, the people that have the token, and it randomly selects ones. And we did that so that we could award contributors or participants in our DAO calls. This enhanced the experience for our DAO calls, and people are really anticipating to actually participate in the end of the DAO calls for this. So currently in the ecosystem, and what we've been observing is there are 200 plus DAOs that are really, really active in SPL governance in Solana. From those, there's over 2,000 DAOs that have been created. So, and we're growing really fast. 18,000 unique voters. These are unique. These are unique voters and not duplicate voter records that are voting in multiple DAOs. These are unique. And 500 of those voters, more than 500, are participating in squads. But we launched one more product called Real Time, and this is fantastic. Everybody should bookmark this if you guys want to see what's going on in SPL governance. This is real-time proposals that have been pushed. If you're participating in any DAO in the Solana ecosystem, make sure you bookmark it, use it. It's free for anybody to use. The most important thing is we show the description, we show the directions, we have links that are going to take you to the DAO. You could explore the details. We have both links to SPL governance and to the Realms UI, so you could always verify your data. That's very important. We parse also GitHub gists, Google Drive, and Gitbook direct links, so it's really, really clear to see it at one UI. And that last thing that I mentioned it earlier, but this is where I think it ties everything in, and what we've learned from this incredible primitive is how do you use this in the real world? And we did this thing called frictionless. We wanted to make a proof of concept, but I wanted to make it live. I don't know if you guys could see it, but the point of this is to demo exactly what you could do. Do I have to click it one more time, Unipix? All right. So I think it's... There you go. So this is multi-chain, OAuth, Twitter, Discord, and email. And once you connect, notice here it's an Ethereum wallet, 0 ETH, there's no balance here. So we're going to sign here this message, make sure that you sign the message and you have the wallet. We derive a PDA of us, and we make a Solana wallet for you, and you could see proposals from a DAO. Right now we're going to click it, and we're casting our vote. Just like that. You didn't pay anything to do this. So Grape has been the fee relayer to get this done, and this is what I believe participation should be for DAOs that want to reduce this friction of participating. Because we've seen this numerous times, participation, and this was how much time it took. I mean, this is how fast the Solana blockchain is. It's amazing. So, in a nutshell, you know, I'd like to thank everybody from our community. Wouldn't be possible without them and from our DAO. And again, thank you to the hosts and to Sebastian for his consistent support. Because without you, all this wouldn't have been possible. So we're really appreciative of that.